200 a day. That's crazy out there, man. Those are big numbers. Like even for these times. So I mean, what's up, yo? Welcome to another episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's go on to the video right away. The goon who single-handedly terrorized the Supreme Team. Let's get right into it.
Like other people, like he wasn't afraid of him.
There's only 4 niggas that I know personally in Queens that wasn't scared of Preem. 50,
That's my boy, yeah. He's always some shit.
E-Money Bags, Homo, and Big Nose Troy. Between Big Nose Troy, Homo, E-Money, them niggas terrorized the whole Queens.
Pretty Tony and Lance, Head Luke, Mel's son, Troy and E-Money Bag.
Back in the day, the Supreme Team.
That's back then, when the money was rolling in the streets. Crazy.
Was the most feared crew in Queens. With Kenneth Supreme McGriff running the show and rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest names in hip-hop, his crew was well feared. But even with all that weight, one guy stood out as a whole different kind of problem. Nose Big Troy. He wasn't
Sounded like a threat. Hold up.
With Kenneth Supreme McGriff running the show and rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest names in hip-hop, his crew was well feared. But even with all that weight, one guy stood out as a whole different kind of problem. Nose Big Troy. He wasn't afraid of him, and he was strong enough and bad enough to, go up against him. Nose Big Troy wasn't just another name in Queens. When it came to street notoriety, he was in a league of his own.
Yeah, that's the prison shot right there. That's the prison shot. Both shots.
Queens. When it came to street notoriety, he was in a league of his own. Rolling with heavy hitters like Prodigy from Mobb Deep and E-Money Bags, he supposedly got tangled up with the Supreme Team over some snitching allegations. And from there, things escalated really fast. Now,
Crazy. Those times, look, big chains, a lot of Gucci.
Now let's be real, the stories about the Supreme Team aren't just rumors. They had Queens on lock for years, causing terror and fear all around. Even 50 Cent felt the heat when he took 9 bullets. And if that doesn't tell you how real it was, nothing will. But here's the thing.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
None of
Yeah, but 50 came out on top.
that shook Nose Big Troy, at least not at first. But trust, he eventually found out the hard way that no one walks away clean. One night, they put it out that he's at the Van Wyck sports bar, and they just wait for him to walk out and pop him, and that's it, he's dead. So how deep does this story really go? Let's get into it. When the crack epidemic...
That's how it was back then. I mean, you get into some shit and get resolved that same day. You ain't know where it was coming from. Wild Wild West type shit.
Hit in '84, places like Guy Brewer Boulevard and the Baisley projects turned into cash machines.
Yo, look at here, dude. Dorothy, Lucy, crazy.
For the Supreme Team and other dealers. Buyers, both black and white, especially from the surrounding middle-class neighborhoods, flooded South Jamaica, desperate to get their hands on DS.
Yeah, mostly drugs probably, from what I see. But you have a little bit of everything, robbery, burglary, and just as you saw, stolen cars.
How bad is this place?
I'd say it's bad.
As bad as you was, motherfucker. I know you was bad. In those days, boy, dudes like that would be mad bad. Beat the shit out of you.
Back then, the biggest name on the scene was Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols.
There were several major organizations selling heroin in Southeast Queens, and one of them was Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols' organization.
Fat Cat wasn't some street kid from the jump. He grew up in a working-class household with a mom who was a nurse's aide and a dad who was a professional plumber. But he had the magic connection, a pipeline
Fat Cat. Nah, let's talk about it.
to an endless supply of allegedly thanks to his ties with the Italian mafia, and he was feeding the Supreme Team heavy in the early 80s. Meanwhile, hip-hop was just starting to bubble into the mainstream. Right next to Supreme's stomping grounds in South Jamaica was Hollis, Queens, a place that was quickly becoming a hip-hop hotspot. That's where Run DMC, the first rap group to break
Here's where the Grandmaster J shit comes in.
big into the mainstream, came from. And if that wasn't enough, you also had Russell Simmons, Run's older brother, launching Def Jam Records from the neighborhood. And just down the block was a young LL Cool J was gearing up to take over the rap game. From the beginning, Queens D kingpins like Supreme and Fat Cat were rubbing shoulders with these rising rap stars, funding shows, paying for performances, and even supplying some artists with DS, either for their own use or to flip for extra cash. It wasn't just a business connection, it was a whole scene. Jam Master J, Run DMC's legendary DJ, even married the sister of James Wall Corley, who was tight with Supreme and Fat Cat's crew. When
That's when the thing started going bad. No? Mixing business with family.
Fat Cat was indicted for deconspiracy in '85, the crew threw a massive send-off party where you could catch hip-hop pioneers like Curtis Blow and Busy B sharing the stage with Supreme's crew.
Yo, what the hell was this nigga wearing? Hold up.
Like Curtis Blow and
What the hell is this dude wearing? That's what dudes are wearing nowadays. You gotta watch it, man. It's crazy out there.
Busy B sharing the stage with Supreme's crew.
I want to make a special dedication to my man, my brother, who ain't with us right now, but he with us in heart and mind. Fat Cat!
By 1987, the Supreme Team was at their peak, allegedly pulling in up to $200,000 a day. But that kind of money attracts serious heat. That year, the feds came.
What? 200 a day. That's crazy out there, man. Those are big numbers. Like even for these times. So, I mean, calculated in this era, it's about maybe $500 a day. That's crazy. Those are crazy numbers.
Came down hard with an indictment. Somehow, Supreme McGriff only caught a light 10-year sentence, leaving his nephew, Gerald Prince Miller, to take over. But under Prince's leadership, things got a whole lot bloodier. The feds claimed the Supreme Team was behind at least 8 murders in 1987 alone, although Supreme himself was never charged with any of them. By the end of the year, Prince got locked up too. And with both leaders off the streets, the Supreme Team's reign was pretty much over, at least for the moment.
So the streets were up for grabs. I mean, the Queen streets.
While the Supreme Team was cooling off, a crime rocked the neighborhood and sent shockwaves across the country. In 1988, rookie cop Edward Byrne was assassinated while sitting in his patrol car guarding the home of a witness involved in a case. The hit was ordered by Pappy Mason, Fat Cat Nichols' top lieutenant, through his crew. The
I heard the name before. Happy Mason.
Bos Gang. After that, the NYPD flooded South Jamaica, cracking down hard on the D-trade.
You can't kill a police officer and get away with it. That's why police react so quickly. You can't kill a police officer and get away with it.
A Queens grand jury is going to convene tomorrow to consider the case against 4 young men accused of executing rookie cop Edward Byrne. He was gunned down while guarding a witness in a drug case.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, once you do that, you know what's coming. This heat coming is over. You might as well call it quits.
So when Prince got out in '89 and tried to revive the Supreme Team, the clock was already ticking. Eventually, he and others were charged with a wild scheme where they allegedly lured 4 Colombian D suppliers to the Baisley projects, killed them, and stole their.
Here's my thing. I look at it like this. At what point did nobody stop and say, hey, I want this X amount of money and then I'm out? Nobody did that. Everybody just kept going. I don't understand these people.
The bodies were never found. While his old crew was getting picked off by law enforcement, Supreme was sitting relatively safe in federal prison, doing his 12-year stretch for D conspiracy. By the time he got out in '93, the streets of South Jamaica had changed. The golden age of D dealing was over. Most of the big players from the 80s were either dead or locked up, but a new hustle had taken over the neighborhood, one that was pulling in even more money than crack ever did: hip-hop. Supreme quickly
Okay. Right away, he tried to get into that trade.
aligned with Irv Gotti, whom he'd known before he got locked up. Well, things were going well for quite some time, but not until he crossed paths with Troy Singleton and E Moneybags. Troy Singleton, better known as Big Nose Troy, was born in Queens in 1968. Different sources give mixed stories about his background, so pinning down the exact facts about him is tricky. Still, one thing's for sure: while he might not be as widely known as Supreme McGriff, 50 Cent, or Fat Cat, his name rang out heavy in the streets of New York. And unlike most, Troy wasn't scared of Supreme McGriff, the notorious leader of the Supreme team. Alongside 50 Cent and E Moneybags, he was one of the few willing to stand up to him.
See, there's only 4 that I
Here come along comes 50.
know personally in Queens that wasn't scared of Preem. 50, E Moneybags, Homo, and Big Nose Troy.
What made Troy different from the old school street legends was simple: he didn't care about their reputation. While names like Supreme Prince and Fat Cat Nichols had the city on lock, Troy represented a new breed that wasn't about bowing down to anyone. Despite living with sickle cell anemia,
He was a young gunner. One of them loose cannons.
a painful condition that would break most people, Troy kept it moving. In fact, his battle with the disease connected him with Prodigy from Mobb Deep, who had the same illness. Word is, when Prodigy was laid up in the hospital, Troy would come through with food from Red Lobster. Another person Troy rode with heavy was Eric Smith, better known as E Moneybags.
Okay.
The same E Moneybags who, back in '99, accidentally hit Supreme's right-hand man Black Just while aiming for Supreme outside Jamaica Coliseum Mall. Troy and E Moneybags had been tight since their younger days, pulling off robberies and stick-ups around Jamaica, Queens. Over time, their beef with the Supreme team became serious.
Yeah, these dudes was the sticker boys. You know that.
And let's just say, it didn't end well for either side. Now, if you know anything about E Moneybags, you probably know why he hated the Supreme team. But if you don't, here's the backstory. Before Supreme got locked up for life, he was running a side hustle selling tagged, stolen cars through a woman named Z. When E decided to buy a car, he dropped a $1,000 payment through Z, but later he changed his mind and wanted to use that cash for a down payment on a new Lincoln Navigator. When he asked Supreme for a refund, though, Supreme basically laughed him off and refused to give the money back.
Him and Supreme
Oh, wow. The total disrespect, huh?
got into some sort of, argument over some money, over a car or something like that.
Over $1,000.
Over $1,000.
That disrespect sparked a legendary feud that eventually led to the accidental killing of Black Just in 1999.
E Moneybags wanted to kill Supreme, so he pulled up on him and shot the car up, and it ended up killing Black Just.
For Big Nose Troy, though,
Oh, wow. That's messed up, bro. Getting caught in the line of fire. I mean, but if you was in that car, you was in the same, you were doing the same thing the other dude was doing. Factual.
his issue with the Supreme team came from a different situation. It all kicked off in July of 1995 during the Peace Tournament, a basketball event held at Baisley Pond Park in South Jamaica, Queens. The tournament was supposed to honor 2 men killed by the police the year before, and with around 300 people watching from the Baisley Park projects, things seemed cool, until they weren't. About 5 minutes into the second half, gunshots rang out across the court. By the time the chaos settled, 2 people, Pierre Mitchell and Jamal Adams, were dead, and several others were injured.
Like I said, this era was, you get things done fast. There was beef. It was back to the lab to plot, to see what was gonna be the next move. Fast. Who moved faster? Wild Wild West.
At first, the police struggled to figure out who was behind the shooting, but eventually Troy was picked out in a lineup at the 113th precinct and charged with second-degree murder. And here's the twist. Baisley Park was Supreme's home turf, so pulling a move like that in his backyard was not exactly the smartest play. The whole peace tournament shooting was detailed in Ethan Brown's 2010 book Queen's Reign Supreme, but not all the details about Troy's role came to light until later. Word on the street is that while Troy was being hauled in, a Supreme team member allegedly gave a statement against him. On top of that, there
here we go. Was it this dude right here? And they snitched on old boy.
were rumors that James Bimmy Antony, another key figure, was ready to sign an affidavit and testify.
Oh, man. This guy looks like that. Look, he has the face. Crazy.
Even though Bimmy never ended up on the witness stand and Troy walked free, he took the—
Yo, that's him? Damn. He used to be fucking a nigga up. Look at this dude.
Of that, there were rumors that James Bimmy Antony, another key figure,
the before,
was ready to sign an affidavit and testify. Even though Bimmy—
the after. Damn. I mean, shit caught up with him. Age catches up to all of us sometime.
Never ended up on the witness stand and Troy walked free. He took the whole situation personally, feeling like the Supreme team was trying to set him up. Between E-Moneybags getting played over the car deal and the Supreme team's supposed attempt to pin the double homicide on Troy, the two decided there was only one thing left to do: declare all-out war on the Supreme team. And from that point on, things only got darker. If you were down with the Supreme team, you were automatically an enemy. That was the code Big Nose Troy and E-Moneybags lived by. The two of them roamed the streets of Queens like they had nothing to lose, pistol whipping, smacking, and roughing up anyone connected to Supreme's crew. And they weren't
Dude's got goony.
Exactly subtle about it either. Word spread fast that these two weren't playing around, and everyone knew this street war was only going to end one way: in blood. Troy's hatred for Supreme and his people ran so deep that he took things to a whole new level. He wasn't just causing problems in the hood, he started pulling up on Supreme's guys in broad daylight. Record has it, he even caught a couple of them slipping outside the Universal Records office and slapped them senseless right there on Broadway, the busiest street in all of New York. But that wasn't enough for Troy. He wanted to hit Supreme where it really hurt: his beloved record label, Inc. During his rampage, Troy ran up on—
I see what he went on Murder Inc. Gotti and them dudes. But I'm saying though, wasn't one of the— write that in the comments, wasn't one of the Gotti brothers like thugged out? I'm not sure. I think I heard that before.
On Ja Rule's manager, Ron Gutta Robinson, and reportedly smacked him around like it was nothing. And he didn't stop there. Around the same time, Troy and another street legend, Nathan Green-Eyed Born May, tracked down Irv Gotti, the head of Inc., and one of Supreme's closest allies, and gave him a beating he wouldn't forget. By 2001, Supreme had enough.
Oh shit. So they did put hands on Gotti, huh?
Troy and E-Moneybags were messing with his business, his people, and his reputation, and something had to be done. According to court documents from his later trial, Supreme turned to Emmanuel Dog Mosley, a trusted member of his crew, and gave
That's not that dude's picture. It can't be.
him a deadly task: find a crew of hitmen and take out both E-Moneybags and Big Nose Troy.
Supreme had assembled a team of guys, this guy Manny Mosley.
To sweeten the deal, Supreme allegedly put a $50,000 bounty on their heads.
You wouldn't got the gunners. Go get the gun. Get the replacement killers.
For Supreme, this wasn't just about business, it was personal. E-Moneybags had to go for killing Black Just, and Troy, well, Troy had been a thorn in his side since the peace tournament shooting and everything that followed. Dog didn't waste any time. He assembled a crew of killers and got to work. Unfortunately for E-Moneybags, he was the first target. In July 2001, he was ambushed and shot to death while sitting in his car.
There's basically E sitting in his truck, and the family was having a barbecue at this house, and they're bringing
Oh man, I had the barbecue. Always at the barbecue.
food back and forth, and he wasn't paying attention. She guided the hit team in to kill him.
Oh wow, they set him up. That's what she said. They set him up. Oh, he said they set him up.
Basically, E is sitting in his truck, and the family was having a barbecue at this house, and they're bringing food back and forth, and he wasn't paying attention. She guided the hit team in to kill him.
Just 3 months later, on October 28th, they caught up with Troy. With the help of hitmen like Aaron Granson, Mosley's team found Troy outside a club on Liberty Avenue in South Jamaica. As he was heading back to his car, they let off 8 shots, leaving him no chance of survival.
One night, they put it out that he's at the Van Wyck Sports
Crazy.
Bar. And they just wait for him to walk out and pop him, and that's it. He's dead.
Even after taking down Troy, the crew
Wow.
didn't stop. They kept hunting for Nathan Green-Eyed Bourne, but they never managed to find him. These back-to-back hits were a major part of why Supreme eventually found himself facing life behind bars. In 2007, he was sentenced to life in
Oh wow. I mean, they knew. So everybody knew who got who and who did what. Eventually, it was just a small community war, a civil war amongst Queens themselves.
prison, a fate sealed by the testimony of his own crew, who flipped on him the moment they had the chance.
And in 2007, Supreme ends up getting convicted.
And here comes Bimmy. Big Bim.
In federal court of racketeering, for hire homicides, narcotics trafficking, engaging in illegal financial transactions with drug money, gets life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Despite his legal team's argument that Troy and E-Moneybags were legitimate threats to his life, the judge wasn't buying it. For a man
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
who once ruled the streets of Queens with an iron fist, it was a harsh ending, rotting away in USP McCreary, a high-security prison in Kentucky. But here's the thing, no matter how it all ended, Troy's name still echoes through the streets. He's remembered as a real OG, a fearless
I mean, he was an OG, but seems like he was like a hood legend for being a stick-up kid, or because or a hood legend for going against like the big organizations, you know. That's legendary. I guess there was like some Batman Robin shit.
figure who refused to bow down to anyone. His legacy lives on not just through stories, but through his son, Troy Jr., who's carving out his own lane in the rap game. Even 50 Cent paid his respects. About a year before Troy's death, 50 name-dropped him on Ghetto Quran with the line, "Coming up, I heard sipping."
Coming up, I heard sipping too much Boozel leave you confused, and if you watch the news, you see players in the same game, they lose. I'm forgetting Lefty and Jazz, Pretty Tony and Lance. Oh shit.
Too much booze will leave you confused, and if you watch the news, you see players in this game, they lose. I'm forgetting Lefty and Jazz, Pretty Tony and Lance Head Luke, Mel's son, Troy and E-Moneybags.
Pretty Tony and Lance, Head Luke, Mel's son, Troy and E-Moneybags.
Now, when 50 Cent dropped Ghetto Quran, name-dropping Troy wasn't even the craziest part. He went all in on the Supreme team, and the whole thing? Yeah, it traced back to his beef with Murder Inc. It all started in 1999
That's when that beef started.
when someone from 50's crew allegedly robbed Ja Rule in Queens. Ja was the face of Inc., and 50 was still grinding for his spot. But some say the beef really kicked off over an awkward moment at a party. Even Chris Gotti, Irv's brother, said things got tense after 50 tried to greet Ja at a Inc. after party, but Ja wasn't feeling it.
Oh, you see? You should not done that, Ja. The man had bigger dreams. He had bigger dreams, bigger vision. He was in a different platform. Yeah, you was the top of the world at that time, but you gotta stay humble. Be nice to everybody. You don't know who's that person reaching out their hand to you.
50 comes in the back, says what's up again, and I guess he didn't get enough conversation from Rule. Rule just said what's up and kept moving. I think he wanted to talk to him some more than he did or whatever, and was probably a little pissed off or something. And then that's shortly after that is when
That's one thing about 50. 50 never forgets. He plays that long run game.
he started doing little mixtapes or underground records.
50, though, insists the robbery was the real reason and even claims he tried to squash the beef later, but Ja wasn't interested.
A friend of mine's robbed Ja Rule. And I'm in a club, and I see I'm like, hey, what's up? He see me kicking it with the robbed him, and he
Oh, and then Ja Rule was like, yo, bro, that was you, man. Come on, 50, you know it was you.
feel like, oh shit, I shouldn't speak to this dude because I know the kid robbed him, but I know this kid, I grew up with him.
From there, it was all-out war, diss tracks, interviews, and real-life drama. Irv Gotti jumped in to protect his guy, doing everything he could to block 50's career, even admitting to blackballing him from major labels.
Yeah, but he got to a point where you couldn't do that. He was getting too big too fast, too many connections. He was greasing up the right hands.
I blocked the nigga till he fell into M and Dre's lap. Are you serious? Yeah, labels would call. I was like, yo, if you with him, I ain't with you. And they were like, we ain't with him then, Gotti, forget it.
But 50 didn't fold. He dropped hit after hit and became a global icon while Murder Inc. started to fade. Things hit a boiling point when both crews ended up in the same Atlanta hotel after a show. Ja, already sick of 50's constant shots.
Yo, 50's crazy. Look at his face. This is malicious right here. This is malicious.
Yeah, labels would call. I was like, yo, if you with him, I ain't with you. And they were like, we ain't with him then, Gotti, forget it.
But 50 didn't fold. He dropped hit after hit and became a global icon while Murder Inc. started to fade. Things hit a boiling point when both crews ended up in the same Atlanta hotel.
Look at 50 face. Yo, he's like, I want all the smoke.
After a show. Ja, already sick of 50's constant shots, pulled up with a baseball bat. But 50 wasn't about to play nice. He sucker punched Ja. Chaos broke out, and the hotel turned into a full-on brawl. And depending on who you ask, someone even snatched a chain. But both sides tell it differently.
Uh-oh. That's his side, my side, and the truth.
But the real turning point? The infamous Hit Factory fight. This one got ugly. 50 ended up getting cut with a knife and the police got involved. Black Child, Inc. affiliate, got arrested, and things just got even messier from there.
Black Child. Yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Never heard it. That's crazy. You signed to Murder Inc. and you never came out. Probably had a feature on Charlie Baltimore's side B song.
And while the Inc. beef was already wild, 50 had other problems too, especially after he dropped How to Rob in 1999. That track had him clowning the biggest names in hip-hop: Jay-Z, DMX, Big Pun, you name it.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was like his real. That's when everybody really started noticing who 50 was.
Laughed, others were mad, but one thing was clear. 50 was here, and he wasn't about to let anyone forget it. And then came Ghetto Quran, where 50 didn't just go after rappers. He called out real street legends like Kenneth Supreme McGriff. In the track, he rapped, "Yo, when you hear talk of the South Side, you hear talk of the team. See,
when you hear talk of the South Side, you hear talk of the team. See niggas feared, Prince and respected. Preem for all you slow mother effers. I'ma break. In my down illa, see Preem was the businessman and Prince was the killer. Okay.
feared Prince and respected Preemie. For all you slow mother effers, I'ma break it down. Iller C, Preemie was the businessman and Prince was the killer.
Prince and respected Preem. For all you slow I'ma break it down. Iller. Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the killer.
Preem had deep ties to Inc. and even helped Ja Rule get his chain back. So when 50 exposed the Supreme team's history in Ghetto Quran, things got serious. And in the streets, talking too much isn't just risky.
I mean, what you think? That wasn't that kind of like telling? I mean, write that down in the comments, bro. I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit of telling because this is dudes from the streets, and you putting it down on wax. So you breaking down the details, making it easier for police to do shit.
It's deadly. On May 24th, 2000, that tension hit a breaking point when 50 was shot 9 times outside his grandmother's house. Somehow,
And that's what happened.
he survived, but instead of backing down, he doubled down.
It was real, like a real sneaky. He came around the back of the car, like come around the side, so like he like this, and he froze up. Nigga. Nah, shut up. You ain't pull up.
Oh shit.
While Ja Rule and Irv Gotti were dominating the charts and blacklisting him from the industry, 50 was quietly plotting his comeback. During his recovery, he recorded Guess Who's Back, a project packed with raw energy and direct shots at the people who tried to take him out. Most thought he was finished, but then Eminem.
Yeah, he came back strong. Dre picked him up. Eminem picked him up. Eminem picked him up. Takes him to Dre. Dre got beats for days. Sees the boy swag. Tells him, yo, we're gonna do this. If the white boy likes you, I like you too. Let's go. At that time, M was on top of the world. He's still doing his numbers, but you know what I mean.
Heard his music, and everything changed. By 2002, 50 was sitting with M and Dr. Dre.
There you go. Oof. Them boys made money. Them boys made money. I'm telling you, they made money. Hits after hits after hits. The producer, though, the mad chemist.
In LA, and once Dre got involved, there was no stopping him. Looking back, it's crazy how things flipped. While Troy and E-Money Bags fell to the streets and Supreme ended up with a life sentence, 50 turned the chaos into fuel and became one of the biggest icons in hip-hop. And while Troy Singleton's name might not be as famous, his story is a reminder of how loyalty, street politics, and ambition.
Listen, man. You should have done what you had to do, but at the same time, you always got to pay attention to leaving over legacy. Isn't that what we live for? Legacy? You're trying to leave a legacy, you know? It's like legacy is what is legacy? Legacy is like what old man wants to reach after they die, you know? Whether it be you leaving something, a stepping stone for your kids, or a stepping stone for your family, where in the future is something that's of big impact towards the future of the next generation, or maybe the generation after next. I mean, yeah, he was a goon. They were goons, but it seemed to me like the Supreme team was the dudes that was making the money, and then the other dudes, the goons that they were against, they probably were like, the stick up kids, or you know, dudes that were getting certain type of money, but you know, they they want some other shit, point blank. And I guess it's like they say, you live by the gun, you die by the gun, man. You already know, man. I'm gonna keep preaching to you. Make sure you like, subscribe, Share this video. Tell me in the comments what you think. Interact with the boy. You already. Peace.